Hello, Forza Motorsport here. I'm here today at Spa in a modern GT endurance race. And like usual in a Forza multiplayer race, the start is rather chaotic. And during the start I also discovered that I had forgotten to turn on manual with clutch on my wheel. So I had to make a quick adjustment there. So not the best of starts by me, and at this point I brake way too hard, probably scaring the shit out of the guy behind me. Also, there is one thing I'd like to mention, and that is that I discovered that the races in the modern GT endurance lobby are usually a lot better than any other multiplayer hoppers, and obviously there are still plenty of accidents, but it doesn't get as crazy as it can sometimes get in any other multiplayer lobbies. Alright, back to the race now, and halfway through lap 1 I'm in 9th position at the moment. But like I mentioned a minute ago, these races are usually a lot better, but that also means that the competition is also a lot better. So these races are a lot more difficult than your average multiplayer hopper. And add to that I'm really not that familiar with this circuit. I have obviously raced at it before, but not as much as some of the other tracks. And you may have noticed that at some points I'm braking a little bit too hard. And speaking of braking a little bit too hard or too early, the chicane coming up is one that I've not quite been able to get my braking point quite right yet. And despite that the competition is a lot better than your average multiplayer lobby, there are still unfortunately the usual corner cutting. So at this point the guy to my right outbrakes me in the first turn, and I managed to do a cutback, but he still got the run on me anyway. So at the start of the second lap I'm now, well, I was going to say 10th position, but then someone quit, so now I am in 9th. And also, because I braked again way too hard, I did lose a lot of time to the two guys ahead of me. But fortunately I was able to catch up again. And while I was busy trying to catch up, the guy ahead of me extended the track, and that's actually the same guy that got the chicane in the previous lap. So this time I got my braking in the stern a little bit better, but not quite right yet. And going through the chicane for the second time, and fortunately the guy ahead of me did not cut it this time, and now I'm getting fairly close to the two drivers in front of me. And obviously it also helps if the guy ahead of you locks up his brakes. And I was able to do a cutback, and this time successfully holding my two gained positions. And getting this corner right also helps a lot, no need to brake there at all actually. That being said, I later noticed that it would be better to downshift to 5th, and bro, I got his position. And at this point I was tempted to say to him, bro, you got this, but then I thought, well, no, let's not do that. Joking aside though, the guy is pretty darn fast. That being said, I was able to keep up with him and at times get closer, and also the guy behind me didn't seem to get any closer to me. Alright, finally got this corner right this time. But like in the previous laps, I am still quite slow in this chicane, enabling the guy behind me to catch up again. But I did get this corner right, and the guy behind me outbraked himself, so that gained me another 200 feet or so. But unfortunately I didn't get this corner quite right. I still didn't shift down to 5th, so the guy behind me started to gain again. And also the guy in front of me is way ahead of me now, but fortunately the guy behind me was not able to get close enough to get past me. But even though he was not able to pass me in that corner, from this point on he would be right behind me, so I really had to work hard and try to not let him get past me. At this point he must have made a mistake, because I would gain a little bit more time on him. And again I'm a little bit slow in this corner, so the guy behind me is again right behind me. And he almost got past me, but at the last moment I was able to keep him behind me. And also gaining one position, because the guy in front of me took his quick stop. And at this point the guy behind me bumps into my rear, no harm done. But one thing that is funny, however, is what you will see later on, what he has on his bumper. And finally I figured out that it would be better to shift back down to 5th gear. At this point the guy behind me is, like you can see, nearly able to get past me, as I for some reason didn't take a defensive line. And at this point the guy behind me is losing a lot of time, so he must have made a mistake somewhere. But anyway, skipping ahead to the beginning of lap 6, right after I have taken my quick stop. And there's one thing that I have noticed in these modern GT lobbies is that a lot of guys quit the race after they have had an accident. So apparently there was just an accident in front of me, so that gained me 2 positions. And during the race I think about half the drivers quit, probably because of accidents, like I said. But that's something I really don't understand, because if they just keep going, then the race would have been a lot more interesting. But anyway, that does gain you a lot of positions. Alright, gaining on 6th position here. Well, let me see if I can take this guy in the chicane, braking later than I normally do. And now he's taking his quick stop, but anyway, that's P6 for the moment. Skipping to the end of the race as nothing much happened. So this is it for me for today. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more. And I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.